All right. So you posted today on you posted on Facebook a notice that you received from somebody in Nigeria who follows you that was issued by the government, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then I comment under it that
Yep.
I would bet good money I don't have that
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be some major financial thing for the US and probably the Trump
Mm-hmm.
family in
Mm-hmm.
particular, right? And then
Excuse me.
some fool, wait, what's his freaking name? Some fool wants to get into an argument with me about facts. And I was going to engage him, like for real,
I'm glad you didn't.
was going to engage him. And the reason I didn't is because, first of all, he posts some stupid little meme of like a little bird laughing like I'm stupid, right? Because I really
Right.
need you to
Yeah.
fucking mansplain this shit to me, fuck ass. But also, he says, you're letting your biased Democrat agenda get the better of me.
I'm
I'm
I
sorry,
didn't see that one.
sir. A, not a Democrat. Two, my biased Democrat agenda is because it actually, I don't know. I speak in facts backed by evidence. Every single time this administration wants to pick a fight with somebody or cooperate, there is a financial gain.
Of course
It
it
is
is.
always shady. There is always some bullshit
Always.
going on behind.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Yep.
sorry, but Nigeria is the continent of Africa's most populous country,
Mm-hmm.
richest country too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the United States being like, we need to, get rid of ISIS in Nigeria because it's good for the region. I mean, okay, yes, technically it is good for the region, but let's not pretend. This isn't about anything other than being like, yo, we can't have China taking over countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Which China is doing because the United States is putting tariffs on everything. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
No, it's okay. So I reported on it yesterday.
That's where I first saw it.
Yeah. Literally my life in the middle of celebrating the holidays and, recovering from whatever the hell I have.
The
has
flu.
Been,
you have the flu.
I have the flu. She's like, no, don't you fucking get it? You have the flu, man.
You have a fever. You are congested and you have body aches and pains.
Mm-hmm. I got the flu.
All of that up to influenza. Just think.
Yeah. So anyway,
this. I would just like to say for the record, we should not be recording this. I didn't realize you were as sick as you are. So
yeah.
I feel bad. I feel like we should be
okay,
like, yeah, we'll be back later.
Listen, it's all good. It's cool. I took ibuprofen for the aches because now I can breathe and I'm not as nauseated as I was. I ate today. I stopped in just something to kind of quell the
icky.
Yeah. And I'm good. I'm good for right now. And then I went out earlier because, of course, it's, the fun day. It's after the holiday. We're going to talk about that too. I would love to talk about that. Yeah. The after holiday sales. Well, anyway, so back to me reporting on this. So while my point was, my life doesn't stop reporting about news because it's constantly coming through my feeds. And I have them set up to alert me when it's, stuff that's international on purpose because this country is slick, y'all. And the first thing that I thought when I saw that the U.S. was involved in the attack, I thought, here we go with this bullshit. It was the first thing. I was like, because let me explain. Now, to be fair, I have received notice from several people who are Nigerian. We're glad. Thank you. We're so glad that this has happened. Blah, blah, blah. We are sick and tired of it. XYZ. Mm-hmm. And you know what, folks? I'm going to say that I do absolutely understand why people feel that way. Number one, I don't live over there.
Right.
So I don't know the horrors and the terrors of living with something like that every single day, where you don't know from one minute to the next if ISIS is going to come and pull some shady stuff or whatever, right? So I'm not there. Where I am concerned,
yes,
and it says that, you know, AFRICOM, which is the organization that the U.S. did this through, got the go-ahead from Nigeria's leadership to do this.
yes.
And so this was a concerted effort. But make no mistake, baby, the U.S. didn't do this because they like you.
It's not out of the goodness of our hearts, friends.
That's what we're saying. And because at first, wasn't it like, oh, we're gonna go over there and we're gonna take care of all the Muslims and the people that are hurting the Christians? First of all, it's not even. Let's not put it in the context of religion, because it's not. But that's what they want you all to believe, that it's not about that. And I actually went down the rabbit hole. I'm going to actually pull this up and kind of briefly go over just a little bit of it,
yes,
so that you all understand. And again, I talked about this yesterday. The role, it is ultimately extremist groups.
Yes.
And what has happened is people have gotten tired. This has been going on for some time, and folks are tired. So U.S. Africa Command is the name of the organization, or AFRICOM, confirmed that U.S. forces carried out airstrikes on ISIS-linked camps in Nigeria's Sokoto state on Christmas Day, acting, quote, at the direction of the president and in coordination with Nigerian authorities. Initial assessments say multiple ISIS fighters were killed. So, of course, we know that this was strategic. They chose Christmas Day because most people probably, you know, they chill in or whatever, right? They do anything. Well, the problem, again, so what I want to do is I'm going to go here. Because we have to, because there's always a backstory. Let's talk about natural resources with Nigeria, because
yes, could we please?
Understand? Yeah.
Yes, because I think what this person on your Facebook page, I'm sorry, like, I'm not disputing, because they wrote that their uncle has served over there, has served in Nigeria as part of U.S. forces, and is like confirming, like, yeah, this is a problem. Nobody's saying it's not a problem. I agree. It's a problem. I don't live there, so I don't know. But do I agree that there's an issue? Yes. Do I also agree that the U.S. is not going to do this without some type of economic positive for us?
Yep.
Also, yes. Two things can be true.
That is true. Absolutely. And so here's the issue. The issue is, let's look at those natural resources, because we want to definitely be sure. Nigeria's most globally significant, listen to this, folks, assets are, of course, the things that the U.S. is having an issue with right now, and that's energy. Crude oil, among the largest proven reserves in Africa, concentrated in the Niger Delta. Natural gas, one of the world's top reserves. Let's talk about that. High-value petroleum byproducts, and large deposits of tar sands. Okay, oil and gas-driven foreign exchange earnings, geopolitics. Yeah.
What's tar sands?
Tar sand, bitumen.
Tar sand. Oh, tar sand. Okay, thank you. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yep. So so what we need to look at is oil and gas driven foreign exchange earnings, geopolitics, and external interest, but also fuel, environmental, and equity debates. So we got to understand is these are the very things that we're having issues with right now when we're talking about what's currently happening with Venezuela. We are not just there because we just doing the country a favor, right? And we're hearing all kinds of stories. Like Heather said, we don't live there. We are residents of the US of A, and we know how this country thinks and what these folks are because we've seen it before. Like this is, I'm old enough to know that this is going to happen again and again and again and again. And it's always about energy reserves, energy resources that the United States may want or wants access to, and they're going to make it seem like they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart, when in reality, this is all about the energy. But let's also talk about something else that is a part of Nigeria. It holds over 40 commercially viable solid minerals. Hold on.
Say that again. Say that again. How many?
40.
40.
40 commercially viable solid minerals, many that are what? Underdeveloped. Let's talk about what they are. Gold, tin and columbite, limestone, iron ore, coal, lead and zinc, gypsum, kaolin and clay, and granite. So why does this matter? Well, because solid minerals are central to Nigeria's diversification push beyond oil. Pause. There's more. You ready? Mm-hmm.
Please.
Let's talk about the agricultural resources.
Yeah.
Cocoa, palm oil,
coffee,
cassava, and yam.
What about coffee? Is coffee in Nigeria?
Coffee is not a part of this. Isn't that something? Cassava and yam, rice, maize and sorghum, ground nuts, rubber, cotton, and livestock. Oh, but there's more. And we wouldn't be surprised. This is Africa, right? Major rivers, inland waterways and fisheries, Atlantic coastline enabling ports and trade and offshore energy, right? China's over there right now doing the exact same thing that the US of A wants access to, right? They're actually building entire plants and putting things down and quote unquote loaning African countries money. And now these African countries are in debt to China and can't pay it back.
Yeah.
We could go way down the rabbit hole. And I'm just giving you just an overview, so when we're talking about this, we are fully aware, and Heather, I'm going to hand it back off to you and mute myself while I cough. But what we're saying is this country never does anything just because it's the good thing out of the goodness of their heart. If that were the case, we would be in Sudan. If that were the case, we would stop what the UAE is funding in that region. If that were the case, then we would stop sending American tax dollars to fund Israel and what they're currently doing right now, even though they said there was a ceasefire in Palestine, there is not. And they're continuing to bulldoze entire homes and take the lives of Palestinian people. Okay, I just wanted to be quiet now. All right.
So the issue is that while this is all being portrayed as strategically and not purely humanitarian, right? At least they're not trying to gaslight us into that. But it is centered primarily around China's increasing presence in certain African countries, because the US, for whatever reason, believes that China is our biggest, I don't want to say enemy, because I feel like that's too strong of a word, but definitely competition, on which I could agree with that, right? China is our biggest competition, but the way this administration, and I feel like it's being portrayed in the media, is completely on the other side of how the competition really should be looked at. And what I see is that China is interested in doing these partnerships, trade deals, predatory loans, however you want to call it, right, with certain countries in Africa. But in the end, what they do then is they turn around and they invest all of that into their people, into their education system, and into their own technology. China is leaps and bounds and almost light years ahead of us in so many ways, right? So while the US could see, and rightfully so, that China is the competition, the way that competition is being portrayed and the way that it could translate to come back to the US is completely skewed.
Absolutely.
It is incorrect. If you when when there was that 24-hour blackout of TikTok, whenever that was, last year or something like that, right? I forget because time is fluid. But a lot of people were going over to Redbook, which is like Chinese TikTok. And we were getting glimpses of Chinese life and some of their traditions and like what they like their day-to-day life, how they live, the way they dress, their transportation, their apartments, all these things. It is nothing like it's actually portrayed here. Like, we're to think that China is poor and people are terrible and it's this and that. And I'm sure there are poor people in China, of course. There's poor people everywhere, right? But overwhelmingly, what we saw was like a middle-class existence. Like what we would think of as middle class over there is still, it's almost like the Jetsons. Like when we would watch the Jetsons and we're like, what do you mean there's going to be this train that can go 90 miles an hour and get you where you want to go in like minutes, right? Like China has that. What do you mean there's healthcare that you can go in and get a same day appointment and pay $10 for all of this stuff?
Exactly.
Now, I might be exaggerating that a little bit, but you see what I'm saying, right? Like China has that. Their kids are learning how to use AI as part of their regular life, not to take it over, but not to let AI take over regular life, but how to incorporate it into education and business and development and all these things. And the US, we're still arguing about whether or not we should even feed kids.
Right. Why are we having that conversation?
China and the US, we are not the same.
We are not the same.
We are not the same. And I'm not saying that from a point where, because usually when people are like, we are not the same, that means they're trying to be superior. That's not how I mean it right now, friends.
Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of highlight the message that I received from one of my followers about the letter that they sent, which actually came from, I wanted to make sure I pulled this up too, because this ties right into exactly what we're talking about in the narrative that the U.S. or Trump's administration is trying to portray and what it really is. So Nigeria's government publicly corrected, first of all, with that notice that was sent to me, the narrative surrounding the U.S.-Nigeria attacks, right? So first of all, it was an airstrike. This was done through our U.S. air base or U.S. base in Germany, right? So we didn't fly from the U.S. all the way over there. It was done with drones, okay? That's first. It was a joint counterterrorism strike. Targets were designated terrorist groups, not religious communities.
Right, but the way Trump is saying it is that they're protecting Christians over there.
Yep. Well, this guy says that ain't what it is.
Okay, but can we also just call a duck a duck? It's not like Trump gives a shit about Christians or any other religious group for that matter. He's just trying to appeal to his Christian nationalist base.
Christian nationalist base. And that's really unfortunate. So here's the thing. Targets were designated terrorist groups. Also, civilian protection was a stated priority. Hence the reason for the drones. Victims of terrorism in Nigeria include both Christians and Muslims. He was very clear on that. Security operations are conducted irrespective of faith or ethnicity. So in short, this was not a religious war, according to what the Trump messages have been on Truth Social and so forth, right? Trump's rhetoric has implied, let's be clear, that this was part of a Christian versus Muslim conflict, which is what he would have everyone to believe. So pay attention to what we're going to see happen in the US of A because of this. And that's number two. Leaned into civilizational holy war language for a political effect, just like you were saying. It's all about that sensationalism against, for his Christian nationalist base. It leaned into civilizational holy war language, omitted Nigeria's long-standing position that terrorism in the region is multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and let's be clear, as they stated, indiscriminate in its victims. They don't give a damn who it is.
No, which does beg the question, like, what's their goal, right? Like, if you're indiscriminately targeting people, I mean, I think we all recognize, or most of us hopefully recognize, that most of the Middle East, and I would say 98% of the African continent, is a mess because of colonialism.
Right.
Because not just from, the Dutch taking over this region and the English and America, whatever, right? Like, yes. But also after World War II, they just unilaterally drew these lines around places. And they were like, oh, you're a country now.
Right.
Congratulations.
And people are like,
any input from the people who actually fucking live there.
Yep. You just do what you want to do.
Yeah, just, we're the white people, so, we know better than you, and we're just going to draw a line around, and now you're Nigeria. And we don't care that this group doesn't like this group, doesn't like this group, or doesn't like that group. Get along. You're a country now.
Right. So there's more.
Of course there is. There's always
So the reason why I like to tear these apart is so that you clearly understand what's happening and what's really going on, because it's the only way that you can kind of put two and two together in your brain. So first of all, Americans should be concerned about our U.S. presence in Nigeria. And here's the other question: what the hell is AFRICOM? All right, so of course, in my research, we should be paying attention, but we're not. The first thing that we want to do, we want to go online. We want to say, thank you, President Trump. We really appreciate you.
Okay, first of all, let's be clear. Yeah. Who is the we you're talking about?
Well, girl, you already know who I'm talking
about. I'm sorry, I couldn't. Go on, sorry.
Because it ain't me. Because like you, in my head, I am fully aware that the current administration, and let's be clear, the AFRICOM didn't start with the Trump administration.
No.
Okay. It started in actually 2007. All right. Now let's talk about this. It's a military operation, United States Africa Command, like I said. And it's one of the military's 6 geographic combatant commands. Started in 2007, like I said earlier. It was fully operational in 2008. Now, again, the headquarters are not in Africa and they're not in the US. It's actually in Stuttgart, Germany. That's interesting. Now, that's intentional. Now, here's the thing. The area of responsibility, y'all, is 53 African countries, which means every single nation except Egypt.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Yeah, I thought you would say that. All right, here we go. Now, here's their stated mission: counterterrorism, ISIS, Al-Qaeda affiliates, support partner militaries, training, advising, intelligence, crisis response, evacuations, instability, protect U.S. interests. Here we go. In Africa. There it is, right there. Okay.
Okay, I'll keep talking. I got to return the dog to her frightful owner. I'll be right back.
Okay. So AFRICOM's real operating model is keep a small footprint, no large U.S. troop deployments. So instead, what they're doing is they're using intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and airstrikes and drones when authorized. So no feet on the ground, right? Partner nation cooperation, contractors, and quiet logistics. So it's designed to avoid another Iraq or Afghanistan and still projecting power. Now, has the U.S. been involved in Nigeria before? Because I had to find out. Yep.
Yes, the answer has
been. Yep. So let's think Boko Haram, intelligence sharing, training Nigerian forces, arms sales and surveillance aircraft, maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea, quiet advisory roles. So the U.S. has been on the ground and actually been helping in situations like this. But here's what's different because of this current situation in this administration. The reason why we're just now finding out about this, even though it's been around since 2007, is because a president in office right now acknowledged the strike.
Yeah, I don't think they normally do that.
No.
I think they just go about they go about their business and they're like,
you carry on.
Yeah.
So we're finding out about it. Explicit framing tied to ISIS and religious violence, which according
On
to
Christmas
Nigeria,
Day, can we just talk about
Uh-huh.
top of mind awareness?
Mm.
Toma, right? We learned that from you many
Yep.
episodes ago.
Yes.
Right? Toma, top of mind awareness. People are hyper aware.
Hyper aware.
Anything to do with the Christian religion, no matter
Absolutely.
what denomination you are, hyper aware.
Hyper
On
aware.
Christmas Day, which is why his messaging was about protecting Christians.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And also, can we just say too, he's an attention whore. So
Yes, he is.
he really wants, like, oh, it's Christmas. People should be spending time with their families, but please look at me, look at me, look at me.
Yep.
So there's that part too.
Yep, I agree with you 100%. So I'm glad that you pointed that out, because that was something that I wanted to kind of highlight. And that is, at the end of the day, the issue is he wanted the attention. He wanted to make it seem like he went over there with these intentions all along to save the Christians, when in reality, the U.S. has been there. The U.S. has constantly been on the ground since 2008, officially with a full-blown operation out of Stuttgart, Germany. This is not new. And it is because they want to protect their own interests. It's what we've said before. The U.S. just ain't over there because we like y'all. I just needed to point that out. Okay. And I'm not saying us as individuals who live, work, play, and live the majority of our lives here in the United States. That's not what I'm saying. But the U.S. is not just sitting around the current any administration and just saying, you know what, we really like those people. Let's go protect them. Bullshit. That's what we're saying.
100% bullshit. So what I learned is that, so this is not happening in a vacuum, right? Like Nigeria is what, because it's hard to, I think sometimes, because they've got us so distracted and off balance all the time, right? Like they just keep throwing shit at us all the time. But we have to remember this isn't a vacuum, right? Like think about what's happening with Venezuela. They're interrupting shipping. They're bombing, they're attacking fishing boats. And now they're saying that, you know, Trump is like, oh, well, we might start ground assaults in Venezuela. Why?
Insane.
Why?
Right.
Oil. Venezuela is okay.
It's okay.
This is what is so frustrating when people try to argue about this. This administration, and I will say this forever, is going to go down in history as the most corrupt administration in American history.
Yeah.
There is a level of grift going on with Trump, his family, and his close associates, the like that have never been seen.
Or that we will see again. And here's, let me put this in perspective, folks. We're not saying that other administrations have not done shady shit. No, let's be clear. That's not what
Obama did shady shit. George W. They all do.
They all do. But these folks are so, it's like a fucking circus, dude. It's like every day you cannot get up and just go about and have your normal life, right? So like you can't just say, okay, but the United States did this today or the United States did that today, right? Nope. Now, again, this is a perfect example of what is happening behind closed doors that we never hear about. AFRICOM been around. Why are we just not hearing about it, right?
Yeah.
On the surface level, and there will be people that will say, well, I've known about it. How come you didn't know about this? You in the news and so forth and this, that, and third. Baby, a lot of people didn't know about B613 and that they're actually, anyway. So I'm just saying. So
I'm sorry, can Daddy Pope come? We need him.
Listen, I have been asking for Daddy Pope.
We need Daddy Pope.
Daddy
Pope, we need you. We need you and Jake's crazy ass. Come on.
So here, So let's talk about some of the shit that this current administration has blatantly, openly done. Let's start because we forget.
I was not prepared for that rabbit hole, but please, let's go.
Well, I mean, because now if I misuse words, just charge it to my head and not my heart and the meds. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about going over to the Middle East and asking for a plane because you want it, and they give it to you. And the law clearly states that no president can accept gifts. They can't even accept a scarf. Ask Hillary and Michelle Obama.
Yep.
Okay. Let's talk about, you go over there, they give you the plane, and then it has to be refurbished. So taxpayers' dollars are paying for the refurbishing of.
And what is that? What is that price tag? $400 million.
Do you Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Millionaire Billionaire Boys Club. It is a group of Trump family members. It is also a group of friends and cousins, them, and all of the people. And the only way that you can be a part of this organization, and I forgot the name of it, I'll have to look it up. I actually did an article on it. The only way that you can get in is to have $500,000 to even be in the room. Not $5. I said 500,000 to be in the room.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, I did an entire piece on that on Substack. Early. And I was blown
Executive
away.
branch.
The executive branch.
Yeah,
yes,
a new exclusive private members club in Washington, D.C., co-founded by Donald Trump Jr., offering ultra wealthy members access to influential figures and Trump administration officials for substantial sums, creating questions about ethical access to power. I'm sorry, creating questions. I don't have questions. That's unethical.
Unethical, period. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then we're going to talk about how you allowed a man born in South Africa to come to this country and literally create an entire group of people, of teeny boppers who can't even piss straight in the fucking toilet, come in and destroy all of the departments of the United States of America because you said that you literally knew that you could find the waste. And guess what? Analysts are now saying that there's more waste that was created because you thought you were going to find the waste. You have destroyed families. You have destroyed entire careers. Communities have been impacted that will never be the same. Let's also talk about the fact that your ass lied when you said that you didn't know anything about Project 2025, when in reality, the entire administration is made up of Heritage Foundation members.
And let's talk also about the Epstein files for just a second.
Oh my God.
Number one, you promised to release them. Then you still haven't. Everything's redacted. But you call it a hoax. So my question is, why do you need to redact things if it's a hoax? And number one, you've been naming Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton came out and was like,
let it all out. Release them.
Go off, dude. Release it. I'm good.
Because here's what Bill said, and I'll say it again. Bill said in his black man voice from Little Rock, Arkansas, outside of the club, and you think I'm a punk. I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared. Let me tell you why he's never scared. Because he's already been in a shitload of mess, and everybody already knows. From Little Rock to Hot Springs, Arkansas, the man even has a black son that just put out a book called The Forgotten Son. Listen, his name is Danny. Okay, so it's not like people didn't know that this man had this kind of a past where he was cavorting around on Hillary. It ain't new. That's why Bill said, drop him. Because I ain't never scared. Listen, at this point, I am who I am. So if you don't have anything to hide, then guess what? You should go ahead and release the files. What you scared of, dog? What? Yeah,
what? It's kind of like, right. So it's like Trump is the school bully who finally gets called out and is like, well, bring it. Let's go. Come on.
Let's go. Come on.
Let's go.
If I'm going down, if we listen, come stand with me.
Right.
Come over here and let's just do it. So if Bill Clinton, who he kept saying was in the files, is like, well, go ahead and release all of them. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's like,
let's talk about this DHS. Let's talk about ICE. Let's talk about Kristi Noem. All of these people who are literally cosplaying and creating havoc around the US of A. I have watched video of what has happened in specific cities throughout the United States on Christmas Day alone. And I promised myself I would not even report on it because I needed a break, right? And I'm watching civil war literally being broken out throughout the United States of America.
Because of ICE. Yeah. So I'm going to try to find this, but there was meat packing plant shut down.
Oh my God. Tyson Foods.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
They have in the town that only has about 12,000 people, I believe. And 3,500 of those townspeople work at the Tyson food plant. It is shutting down. Would you like to know why?
Well, pray tell why, while I eat a cookie.
Tariffs, friends. Tariffs are shutting that plant down because when you impose heavy taxes, which is a tariff, on countries to which we export certain products like beef, poultry, soybeans, corn, ginseng, those countries are going to go get all that stuff from elsewhere.
Somewhere else. Exactly.
And then the U.S. is stuck. U.S. companies are stuck with products they can't sell anywhere. And then thus they don't need to produce anymore, which then leads to job losses, which leads to the shuttering of communities. And here's what else I'm going to say. And this is not really holiday season, rah, rah, rah. But, I don't really do holiday season, rah, rah, rah. So here we are. A lot of those people in that town and in that state voted for Trump. So this is extreme fuck around and find out. I feel like we should do like a fuck around, find out, fuck around, find out, fuck. Sorry. I can't help it. And I know we should have compassion for our fellow human beings. And I do. I feel bad for the kids because the kids don't deserve to pay for the fuckery that their parents decided to support. Right?
Yep.
I feel bad for that. On the other hand, I really feel like the only way to start turning things around is for those people to really start feeling the pain. Instead of being like those people, black and brown people who are bringing this country down because blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Here's the thing. More white people get welfare. More white people do. That's just a fact. Number two, they're overwhelmingly rural.
Yep.
That's also a fact. Number three, black women are the most educated group in this country. They have more degrees, more corporate entrepreneurs, whatever experience than any other ethnic, racial, religious group, whatever in this country, right?
Yep.
So I really just want these people that all of this is starting to affect and they're starting to see the pain. And now there are more and more MAGA being like their eyes are opening and they're being like, oh,
yep,
shit, right? And it's not that I don't want their eyes to open. I do.
Me too.
Of course. I just don't feel bad for them.
I don't either.
Because even as mainstream media, and I'm looking at you, Alphabet Soup, ABC, NBC, CBS. Oh, and let's not start on CBS right now.
Right. Oh my God, today. Ooh. We got to talk about it, but go ahead.
Because I'm like,
excuse me.
But the whole alphabet soup of corporate-owned media has led to these moments because they either refused, were told they couldn't, whatever, capitulating to Trump. And I'm sorry, how does this old, feeble, delirious, dementia-ridden man have this much fucking influence? I don't get it. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry. No. Anyway, I'm glad they're starting to find out. I don't necessarily feel bad that they're feeling the pain, because those of us who are independent and trying to, like, Paulette and I have this vehicle. We also have our separate vehicles to get these things out.
Yeah.
We told y'all.
We told you.
We told you. And by we, I mean every independent journalist, podcaster, blogger, whatever, was doing the research and doing the work and getting this information. And it was just dissipating into the ether because y'all didn't want to listen.
Yep. And it wasn't that people didn't want to listen. They did and they didn't. They heard you. They heard us. You know what they heard more than anything? Can I? Is it okay if I just?
Please. I know what you're going to say, so say it.
They heard their racism more.
Yep, they did.
They heard their misogyny more.
Yep. There's xenophobia.
They heard their patriarchy more. They heard that more than they did anything. They heard their classism more. They heard even the poor folks who believe that MAGA is the way, the truth, and the light, wanted to believe that if they voted this way, no matter what it looked like, because they didn't do the homework and they didn't take things apart and they didn't listen to the bloggers and the podcasters and the folks like me and you, rather than listening, they wanted to be close enough. This is my way to be close to the rich, white, and the elite, and not realizing that those very people that they were voting for, because let's be clear, he is again the front man. Everybody else that is a part of this administration and anything else that is behind him in the form of PACs, super PACs, and all of these hidden organizations that Heather and I have been talking about over the past couple of months are the main winners in all of this. And baby, these folks who are these Christian folks, or what do they call themselves? This new form of Christian, because I've never known a Christian to be like this.
Wait, a new form of Christian? Wait, the Christian nationalists, or?
Thank you. So
Christian, I was like, wait a minute, is there a whole new?
No, because if it is, my God, today we in trouble.
That's what I was thinking.
I'm looking at what is currently happening to all of these people, and there are still folks. If this man were to, and he's literally said it, if I were to take somebody out in Times Square, you all wouldn't do anything about it.
He's so right.
But he's right, because we're not even going to start talking about the Epstein files and infanticide. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the fact that you have gone to such painstaking lengths to redact so much. And now, just recently, folks, what have they recently done? They're trying to find attorneys to continue to redact more files, and nobody wants it.
Because everybody knows. I think even I don't feel like the statement is necessarily true, but I do feel like let me rephrase. Okay, I'm gonna start over. I think there is a growing number of people who have suddenly developed a spine, and some type of morality. And there is now a line that they are unwilling to cross. Right. I think that number of people is growing, whereas before they not only didn't want to draw a line, they were like, whatever happens. But what's interesting is that Congress congressional lawmakers are starting to turn also, whereas at the beginning of the administration, all Republican lawmakers, Walter's in here now, so hello. But all Republican lawmakers, or almost all Republican lawmakers, were very much in lockstep with the administration. And now you're seeing more of them cross over and side with Democrats. Or
leave.
Yeah, or they're just not going to run for re-election, like the one in New York who was going to run for governor and is now like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And is not running for Congress. What do you need, sir? Yeah.
Well, or you have like Marjorie Taylor Greene. Well, you have a lot of people that are not going to run again because they know they don't have a chance in hell.
Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, though, is an opportunist, and she's running for Senate.
Oh, she's running for Senate. Yep.
And she's going to try to use the last like couple months before she left office to, make it seem like, oh, you can't really like be mad at me because I
got away, right? So you're creating this narrative. And I don't know why people think that Americans are that dumb. Never mind. I keep forgetting Johnny Q. Public is stupid. We could go on and on and on about the things that this current administration has done, including breaking international law, including helping to continue with the complete and clear abject genocide of a people. And you know what? Here's what's worse in all of this. America, whether you want it or not, you are complicit. You know why? I'm complicit, you're complicit, because we still pay taxes into this establishment.
We do.
They cannot function without our dollars, right? There are billionaire companies that are paying to stay in their pockets to get what they want done. And I want you all to understand that. Mm-hmm. These people don't mean you. If we could get rid of PACs and super PACs and all of these things, these political action committees and these lobbyists who are on Capitol Hill, who are literally in the pockets of these billion-dollar corporations who are looking to just make more dollars and get away with not paying their fair share. Mm-hmm. And somewhere along the way, Americans have believed the bullshit hype that we just have to work harder.
Well, and honestly, this whole thing has come since Reagan was the president. He was the one who, because something like 80 since Reagan, so in the last 45 years, $80 trillion, $80 trillion or something like that. And I'm going to look it up so I'm not misspeaking, but that I do believe that's true. $80 trillion has moved from the bottom 50% of wage earners or whomever, Americans, into the upper. Like, that's the biggest. White folks really, white people really don't like it when non-white people start to succeed. And white men in particular are pansy asses when it comes to, anybody but them succeeding. They feel threatened. They don't understand that equity for others does not mean less for you.
Less for you.
It's
right.
not pie. We're not cutting pieces of pie. And if 4 of these people get a piece of pie, then you get a smaller piece of pie. That's not how it works.
Not how it works.
And it's just really been since Reagan that all this, anyway, all that to say that what's happening now with Trump and our foreign policy in Nigeria, Venezuela, the attitude towards China, trying to continue to cozy up to Putin, which is a whole different topic. Mm-hmm. But also, it really is, I think we can find our root, well, not the root, but certainly lots of roots in the Reagan administrations. That, he didn't believe in smaller government. Republicans believing in smaller government is not a thing anymore. And it hasn't been for a really long time. And it is all about American exceptionalism, but not because America is exceptional, because we have our boots on the necks of so many other countries.
Yes.
And we're strangling them. But I think what the tariffs and this administration is highlighting, honestly, is that we are not the end all be all for the world.
No, we're not.
Right? Like, let's talk about beef, number one, right?
Mm-hmm. Come on now.
We export beef around the world. Mm-hmm. Now we're saying, well, we're going to import beef from Argentina. Why?
Why?
Why are we doing that? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yep.
And we can't export our soybeans, but because this administration doesn't believe in science or doing anything with any type of fidelity, we can't figure out what else we can do with soybeans so that our farmers continue to grow and produce and harvest soybeans.
Even though they voted against their own best interests.
Exactly. But I'm saying, like, humans are ingenious.
Yeah.
Human beings are ingenious. That's why I hate those post-apocalyptic worlds where they don't have electricity and stuff. I'm like, that shit would never happen.
Right.
Humans are ingenious.
Ingenious, yeah. Agreed.
So, yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, we could go on and on and on about what this current administration, some of the crappy stuff that they have done. We have American citizens who are now being held in ICE facilities, and from what I'm understanding, this poor girl is getting ready to be deported to a deport. Means that you were already in a port, and then you came here, and now they got to send you back. So where are they deporting you to? Back to Maryland, where you were born? I need this to make sense. I need this to make sense. I need it to make sense to me that veterans who fought for this country are being deported after they fought for this country. I need this to make sense that you are refusing medical care and you're sexually assaulted. I need it to make sense that I had to watch that CBS video on CCOT from a station in Canada.
Yeah, so, all right, let's talk about CBS.
Shall we?
And here's how it all ties together, folks.
Oh, yeah.
It might feel like we started at Nigeria and now we've gone like in 50 million directions, but it actually is all tied together.
All tied together.
Here's how. It's all about spin and capitulation and the need for this administration and its supporters to control the narrative, right? So it's about all of those things. But CBS in particular, you motherfuckers, let me tell you something. I am personally goddamn offended by this, okay? How dare you? Your reporters do this story. It has been vetted, fact-checked, gone through all the legality check marks to make sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed. We didn't use a semicolon. We need a comma. Like, none of that, right? It has gone through all the layers, not just once, but twice. The very definition of making a list and checking it twice.
Checking it twice, yeah.
Right? Like, that is that is responsible journalism at the highest level.
Yes.
And for Barry Weiss to be like, oh, clutch my pearls? Daddy Trump might not like this. Daddy Trump might, oh my God, Daddy Trump, you won't like this story. I can't air it. But girl, you had already shipped it off to international outlets like Canada and probably a few others that I don't know about because I haven't bothered to look, frankly. But now, so 60 Minutes has maybe a couple million viewers, maybe. Right? On Sundays. And it might have got a little bit more traction, you know, as like streaming later, whatever.
Right.
Maybe. But by doing what you did, Barry, now this has gone viral.
It's gone viral.
Around the world. And let's not pretend like if what's going on here was happening in another country, we would be like, oh shit, we got to intervene on that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? But because it's happening here, too many Americans still, because I think the latest poll I heard was something like 29 to 33%, something like that, still approve of Trump's thing. Who the fuck are you people? Anyway, but what Barry has done now has irrevocably.
Irrevocably.
Thank you. Words are hard sometimes. Um, has damaged CBS's credibility. Not that it wasn't already damaged for like canceling Stephen Colbert's show, right? Because Trump, again, his feelings got hurt.
Yep.
I frankly don't see how CBS survives this. Like, even after Barry Weiss is gone, and that bitch will leave at some point.
Oh yeah, she will.
I just don't see how CBS survives this. And frankly, I don't necessarily think that it should.
Right. But not only CBS, but let's put them all in perspective. Like you said, all of the ABCs of media.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the part that nobody wants to talk about. There is a change in the air that you cannot deny. You and I are a part of that change.
Mm-hmm.
We are recognizing it on all fronts, how media is changing. And the changing of the guards is slowly happening in front of our screens, in front of our computers and our tablets.
Yes.
People are getting their news from other sources. People are able to get their news from around the world, and we don't have to rely on a CBS or an ABC or a Fox or a CNN or any of these other letters in the alphabet in terms of how to get your news, right? There are journalists who are willing to tell the truth and to do the reporting and to be forthright. And unfortunately, we are watching the death of
legacy
media. That's what we're watching right now, because you bowed, you took the knee, you didn't stand up, and now you have the Roland Martins, and you have the Midas Touch, and you have the Aaron Parnases, and Under the Desk News, and Brownstone Worldwide, and we also have the Heather Asiyanbis, and we have all of these other people who are willing to share the news and tell the truth, and catch flack for telling people the truth. But here's the reality. You deserve, I don't care. And I say this often, even when I'm doing the day shift or the night shift, I tell people that come in, and the trolls and whomever, and I tell people, leave them alone. If they want to be here, they're here for a reason, and they're still here. You're here to learn. What you do with the information is completely up to you, but you deserve the truth because you are a tax-paying U.S. citizen. Whether you are or you aren't, I don't know you personally, but you deserve to know what's really happening. And then you make a decision on your own, right? You vote who you want to vote for. But not one person in this country should ever believe, and I don't know anybody that ever did. I think in the household I grew up in, that was a no anyway. But you should never believe everything that you're being told anyway. You should be a Berean for everything that you're learning or someone is telling you anyway. And what I'm learning about folks like us and others who are literally doing this and creating followings and people who are subscribing and doing all the things is they're sick of regular traditional media.
Well, because number one, this is another. So there's a couple of reasons, right? I think that I always recall this moment in 2015, let's just say.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen making dinner. Kids, two of the three kids were at the dining room table. And Sky says to me, why are they even making him relevant? Like, he's not relevant, right? And so I think back to that moment 10 years ago, and I'm just like, it's the power. That's the power that media has.
Yeah.
Is to make and break the trajectory of whomever, right? Like they paid so much attention to Trump's candidacy that he became viable. Right? And it happened again with this cycle. Only instead of the media making him viable, they didn't, which again is a dereliction of duty, but they didn't apply the question everything philosophy that you were just talking about. Right? You question everything, fact check everything, which is another thing too. The State Department, Marco Rubio and your punk ass, announces, girl, I'm done mincing words. Announces that they're like going after fact checkers.
Did you see that? Oh my God, today.
I'm sorry. What the fuck now? So I get this notice. My friend Allison sends it to me. You know Allison.
Yeah.
So she sends it to me. And I said, well, I guess I better get busy fact checking some shit then, right? Because I'm like, I am not gonna not do my job.
Right.
I'm just not gonna do it. And you know, I mean, Paulette and I don't get paid to do the rivalry report, but we get paid in other ways, right? And both of us are not going to stop. I'm not stopping. You're not stopping. Like, no. This is what it is, right? So it's just, I wonder, and I don't know if this question goes through your mind, but this is what I wonder. I wonder at what point do these MAGA apologists realize that the ship is sinking? Because, you know, JD Vance 2028. Y'all, listen. A cult is only as alive as the leader at the helm.
Yep.
JD Vance is
not.
He is the wettest, wimpiest noodle in the pot. Right?
Excuse me.
He is. Ain't nobody gonna follow him. They're not going to be rah, like they are for Trump.
No.
First of all, him and his guy liner. Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yes.
But also, he just doesn't have the same swagger that Trump does. And I'm not using that in a positive light right now.
No, I know you're not.
But he doesn't have it. He doesn't have that. That cult of personality. He doesn't have it. And so, as often happens with the cult, when the leader is deposed or falls or whatever, the cult falls apart. But I have to wonder, before that happens, how many people are going to start seeing that there is a leak in the ship and it's going down no matter how quick.
Oh my God, today. Let me say this. It's happening. I've seen posts from people. I've seen comments on my own, the news feeds that I do. Mm-hmm. I saw a post literally, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where a woman was saying how you liberals, let's be clear on one thing. We are not the same. I do not believe what you believe. But the one thing, and I thought it was going to go left. And
it does sound like it's about to be really bad.
Girl, listen, let me tell you what she said. She said, but when you people told us who he was and we voted for him anyway, I will be the first to say I am sorry.
Well,
and I thought, what? And I'm like, oh shit, this can't be real. And she says, everything that you all said that he would do, he did. And even worse. And she said something to the effect of, in 2026 and 2028, I want to be sure that I'm on the right side of history to right this wrong. And if there's anything that I can do with my vote and in other ways. And something else she said in regards to, I never thought, how the hell could you not think? That's right, because you didn't.
Yes. And those people are important. And I'm glad that they're switching sides. I'm glad that the light bulb is
turning on
from off to at least starting
it's
to
flickering.
Right?
It's flickering. Yeah.
It's flickering. Yes, I like flickering. Okay. Yeah. On the other hand, how many of those people had to wait, as we talked about at whatever point during this conversation, had to wait before the pain showed up in their doorstep to realize that everything that had been said was not, it wasn't spin. Boy, why is he biting me? But, it wasn't because we just wanted to be like neener.
No.
It was because these were legitimate concerns for which we had supportive, evidentiary based beliefs and thought. Oh, okay.
We wasn't just beliefs, baby. This was facts.
But right? Like, we had the facts to back us up. Like, these things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it brings to mind that I think it was Stephen Colbert actually who was talking with Vice President Harris. This is a few months ago. Right before, it might have been right before the release of her book. But he said, everything you told us would happen is happening. He's like, is there anything that surprises you? And she said, the level of capitulation is the only thing that was really surprising.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I have to agree because I know deep in my heart, I know there are more good people in this world than bad. I know that there are more parents than not who will do anything to help their kids succeed in all the best ways, right? Mm-hmm. I know that. On the other hand, I was unprepared for the number of people who would just not just go along for this, but like wholeheartedly cheer it on, support it, do all the things necessary to make the things happen until the pain knocked on their door and was like, oh, hey, by the way, you might be an American citizen who is married to an undocumented immigrant who is going through the process of getting citizenship, but we're going to deport their ass anyway. Thanks for voting for this.
It's happening. Yep.
And that's happening over and over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. We're seeing that is on a very personal level.
Yeah.
I saw this girl crying. She's like, my dad has been here for 40 years and he was getting a citizenship. He has a green card. He was, and now they've deported him and I don't know where he is. And I was just like, you don't say. And I know I voted for this administration, but I just didn't think that this would happen to him because he's following the rules and But
he told you.
Girl, we told you. What part didn't you fucking understand? That's what gets to me. And it's just like the meatpacking plant, the Tyson meatpacking plant. Mm-hmm. Tariffs are a tax. People are going to lose their jobs. The economy's going to suffer. And and then a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how there's an expert, I think it was in Newsweek, who was like, the ass is about to fall out of the real estate market again because we're about to have a price correction that's worse than what happened in 2008. I'm sorry, what now? Like, this is...
Oh, but wait, let's not forget. They're getting ready to turn the switch back on student loans. So for folks who are in default, now remember, let's be clear, this is nothing that he in this administration did. But in the middle of everything else that is going on with people losing their jobs and inflation and so forth, you want to turn back on garnishing people's wages who are in default. You want to go back and you want to impact people who are also a part of the IBR/IDR program, and
you're going to need to explain that to the people. What is that?
Okay, so an IBR or an IDR, IBR means income-based repayment program, or an IDR, which is an income-driven repayment program or plan. And basically what it is based upon your income and how many people live in your household and so forth, you're able to repay on a very small amount of what your total amount of your monthly student loan repayment is. Now,
no, I'm just saying, like, thank you for explaining that so that people understand what you mean. Okay.
Right. Now, let's be clear. And the reason why I say this often is, here's one that I'm not going to give him credit for. He didn't come up with this. But for the fact that the Department of Education is getting ready to turn this back on in the middle of all of this is what is disconcerting to me, because of everything that is going on in this country, which lets me know that these rich bastards who are in these offices who have been put in place because they paid to play, and basically they're cosplaying. And I don't give a damn what anybody says. My husband had enough money to put me in position so I could play with people's lives. And I cannot wait until those people are gone, so that if I could just sit down with a few of them and see where their head is at when they think that they understand and they know what the average American is dealing with on an everyday basis. So now these people that you told all of these years, if you get a college education, Paulette, Heather, if you get a college education and you get enough of it, because I happen to be one of those Black women that's overly educated who happened to be laid off in the middle of the Biden administration, because there was a specific person who said we shouldn't have DEI at major corporations. And I'm going to start suing. So major corporations, to protect their asses, let go of people like me. Now, because of that, I officially had to figure out what in the hell I was going to do. They gave me a severance package and said, we'll see you. We're getting rid of your department. And all of the Black women that were in it were gone. Okay. So now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay my student loans, what I'm going to do. So I ended up having to get an IBR, which is the income-based repayment program, which I am fully aware of. But let's be clear. This was a program that literally has been in place for years, well before the Trump administration, the Biden administration. This was years ago. I am telling you this because this happened to me. I was in default. It wasn't for a lot of cash, but it was enough. And I was in desperate need of my tax return. Honey, that money got intercepted so quick. I ended up with a tax return of 1 cent. I will never forget. I needed that money so bad. It wasn't even funny. I needed that return. And my entire life fell apart at that very moment. I ended up homeless. I ended up trying to live out of my car. And this was in 2003, right? So we're not talking about like in the 1990s or something like that. It's 2003. I'm bringing this up to let you all know that this shit is real. And if it's going to hit you like that, if you're expecting your money after your tax returns or whatever, and you have not called these people to set up some kind of repayment plan, honey, they will intercept your paycheck. They'll take 15 to 20% of your paycheck, and they will intercept your tax returns. Yep. I am not talking about anybody that doesn't know it happened to me.
Yep.
So there you go.
There's that.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I honestly think cruelty and desperation is the point. That's my honest opinion. Cruelty and desperation is the point.
I think they think we're toys, because these are all rich people that have been put in position. These are not folks that have not lived a specific. They are outside of JD Vance, which brings me back to a point that you brought up earlier.
You even trust him? Like, I don't know how much I believe. Hi, Lovey. Okay, Grandma's finishing this recording. Okay. I know. I love your little weave braid there. That's awesome.
I told you, Mommy.
I know, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay, I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay. Because Grandma watered her plant and water got everywhere, and I had to take everything out of the drawer and wait for it to dry. That happens. Okay. All right. So. Episode interruptus. Sorry. I firmly believe, first of all, number one, we can't trust JD Vance because he's changed his name like 4 different times. And he goes whichever way the wind blows, right?
Because he was a never Trumper. Okay.
He was a never Trumper, and then he saw the light.
He saw the chick. He saw the chick.
Yeah, there's that. Also, and I just saw this post. It was like, hey, MAGAs, Russia's been killing Christians in Ukraine for a few years now. Where's the U.S. intervention there? Anyway, sorry to digress, but I don't think we can trust anything that JD Vance says about anything, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think that desperation and cruelty is the point, because they want to take away all these things that people rely on.
Yeah. And
then as they give them back, as they parse them out, then people will be like, oh, you saved us.
You're my savior. Oh,
right. That's what they want. But I think what they don't count on is the disparate intelligence of the American people. And I say disparate intelligence because we are not a monolith. The American people are not a monolith, right?
No.
Black community is not a monolith.
No.
White folks for sure are not a monolith.
Mm-mm.
Latinx people, right? Nobody, the country's not a monolith, right? So I say disparate intelligence because you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time.
All the time, that part.
And so there's going to be people who have been consistently ringing this bell, right? And then you're going to have people who come and they're like, oh, I didn't really pay attention to you ringing that bell. Now I need to ring the bell with you because now I understand what you're saying. Like this shit came to roost on my doorstep. I can't, I can't with this anymore. And so, I do think that it is happening. I wish it would happen faster. But I do think it's happening. And somebody said to me the other day that assuming Democrats take over the House, maybe not the Senate next year, but at least the House, Trump almost then becomes a lame duck president.
Yep. And
I said, well, yes, but we cannot discount the power of a Vance candidacy, right? Like, I think we would be foolish to blow that off. I don't think we should give it the air to fuel the fire, but I don't think, like, I would hope, I feel like this is a stupid hope, but I would hope that we've learned our lesson a little bit.
No, we haven't.
Okay, that's what I thought too, but I didn't want to say it like that.
Because I mean, after reading about, and researching the authoritarian stack, that is a high possibility. Yeah. So, there you go. We covered a lot today.
We did cover a lot today. And so for anybody who is wondering where you will see this, obviously this will be on YouTube. Paulette will put it on her Substack. I will put it on mine. We will send it out to our various groups, but you can also always find us at the Rivalry Report. Let me give you the right and proper name of it. We are at, hold on, I got to visit the channel because, it's the Rivalry, Rivalry Report 8688. I was class of 86, Paulette's class of 88. So the Rivalry Report 8688 is where you can find us on YouTube. But we will see you next time. And I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but trust me, it'll probably be weird
something
and circular like today.
Y'all, if we don't see you all until 2026, please know that we appreciate each one of you for coming to hang out with us. With each one of our episodes and learning along the way. It has been quite.
Oh, you froze, dude. Or did I freeze? Oh, crap. Okay. I'm going to stop recording because I don't know what just happened. Okay. Thank you for joining us.